Today's episode, we will be looking at the MG9000 Prestige. To say the least, this sucks. What is up? Welcome to Cutting Up. I am your host Mac, and I want to thank you for checking out this content. And I look absolutely crazy right now. Whenever I'm looking like a race swap remake of Hobo with a Shotgun, you know it's probably time to do a new review on a product. And I have one of my favorite companies here, Norelco. No, I'm not sponsored or have any affiliate links with them as of yet. You can change that at any time, Norelco. But I swear by their products. If you've seen my reviews in the past, I have given the One Blade one of the highest reviews that I've gotten on the channel. And my other previous cordless trimmer is also Norelco, and I've had it for years and I still use it to this day. I am going to be a little bit more harsh on this because I have high expectations when it comes to Norelco, and I will be doing the rating system just a little bit different. Usually I tell you if it's a buy for me and if it makes the cut. Keeping this is going to be kind of difficult, and that's because I already own one of these things. Now that doesn't mean that I'm not going to give it a rating on whether or not it's going to make the cut, because whether or not you have a Norelco is going to make the difference. But anyway, today's episode we will be looking at the MG9000 Prestige. This is the Prestige all-in-one trimmer. Remember, if you're new to trying to understand the lingo on these things, what is a trimmer versus a clipper, and I just remember the C is just like a curl, that is for longer hair. So clippers is for longer length hair. There's no real way to remember that the T is for shorter hair. So if you're looking to get the baldy or a buzz cut, or if you're like, even with this is as far as I usually make my hair get grown out, this is still probably in trimmer territory, versus a clipper is going to be something where with much longer length. I see quite a few things in this one. I was able to get my hands on this at Marshall's, $49.99. Not bad. I would say a good budget is just around this range. Now, this particular one, we're just gonna take a quick look at the box. Not too much variety on the people that they're showing on the box there. So it does come with a body trimmer. I will do my best to give a review with that without getting too much of the dad bod on cam. This says it comes with 23 pieces. The full size trimmer itself, they're counting all of those things. Of course, the body trimmer, the precise trimmer, the extra wide hair trimmer, the nose and ear trimmer. There's a lot of different pieces. There is an eyebrow guard, a pouch. I always give extra points for when they come with its own carrying case. Getting into the box with ease. And I see some instructions. And this is what's inside. This is the trimmer here. Let's see what's in the box. They have the pouch. Real quick, it says 100% shower proof, which is an interesting alternative to saying it's waterproof. Self-sharpening dual cut blades, whatever that means. 5 hours of runtime and a battery indicator on the back. 5 hours of runtime is impressive if it's able to actually achieve that, because most of the time you'll hear these things say it takes about 90 minutes and it'll give you maybe 3 hours. It is a lithium ion battery, so it should be relatively lightweight. Now, full charge does take 3 hours. Some of these devices take 90 minutes to charge and then give you 3 hours of runtime. This will give you 5 hours of runtime, but a full charge in 3 hours. And there is a 45-day risk trial money back guarantee. If I'm nitpicking, they could have gave you 90 days. Anything else worth on there? Everybody has their own app. Yeah, so here is the bag. It's not the highest of quality bags. You know, it is a little thin. You can actually kind of see that it's translucent. I don't know how long this bag will last, but credit to them, they gave you a damn travel bag. So many of these things come with 3 or 4 pieces that you can lose easily, and there is nothing that they're giving you. It is just a simple zip bag that looks like it'll fit the trimmer and all 23 pieces that they're giving in here. Here is, I'm guessing, what is going to be the body trimmer in my comment section. And I take the ball game's word for it. I take the people in the community's word for it that they are not always using the same charger, but it has been my experience so far with Philips Norelco that they always use this charger. It is a proprietary charger. I would like to see them go away to just using the USB-C, and then, you know, it'll be a super universal charger. This box is a bit overwhelming with how many pieces I see in there, but I am used to some of these pieces as I've gotten them before with my previous trimmer. I will get out my other trimmer to give you a quick comparison. Weight wise, it feels virtually the same to my previous one, and it looks almost identical. I'm gonna show you how much this looks like my previous one. So it has this satin nickel finish, just has small branding on here. They don't overdo it there. The button in the back feels a little bit sunk in. And the nitpick that I have with mine is that when you turn this on, depending on how you're gripping this, sometimes you tend to accidentally turn it off again. I personally don't see the need or necessity to using this in the shower. I would more say if they're claiming to be shower proof, maybe you can use it on your wet body. I don't tend to like that too much with this type of trimmer because I feel like I get more hair tugs and pulls that way, but we'll see what it does. But I'm gonna show you compared to the one I have already. The subtleties and the changes in them is so minute. Mine did have the same thing with, on the front it had the model on there, 7790, and this is supposed to be the 9000, but the body shape and the weight on them are virtually the same. It comes down to like aesthetic things that they changed. On mine, for example, you can see they did the silver outlining and they did the black outlining here, but other than that, the bodies are virtually the same. There's some more aggressive of this line work here. I don't know if it's intended to be used for gripping. These are so close, but we will see. I have obviously had a lot of experience with this one over the years, but they are so similar. I'm gonna show you something. This is the old one that I still swear by. This is the body trimmer, and it clips right into mine interchangeably, which could be a positive or a negative for you. The only thing I can tell you is, and it might just be the actual one that I have, there is a slight bit more smoothness on the MG9 model. And what I will say, my biggest complaint on mine is that this is really easy to kind of slip and touch this button. So this being a little bit sunken in here is a lot easier to avoid accidental pressing this. As you can see, if I get hold of grip on this, I'm not accidentally pressing that. So that is an improvement there. But outside of that, the differences are negligible, which is not to say that's bad because like I said, I love mine. Now I'm gonna press power on both of them without any attachment on there, and we're gonna see if there is a difference. Remember, mine's a couple years old at this point though. So very light buzz. I mean, the difference is so slight. If it isn't for this, this is the only way I'm being able to tell them apart at this point. I already know kind of the results I'm gonna be able to achieve with this. So according to them, this is the extra wide hair trimmer. As in comparison to this one, they virtually cut the same, it's just that this one is wider. If there is a negative on this device that I'm gonna say, it's gonna be the instructions need work, to say the least. This sucks. I do not like instructions that fold out into this, what I call 1990s poster style, where it's like this. It does have a lot of the information. It tells you the guards, it tells you the inch and the millimeter. So it's detailed. But I find this hard to read. This is very flimsy. It feels like it's a couple of seconds away from tearing. So if you're smart, quickly take some pictures of this because this is not gonna last very long. There is not a lot of illustrations, which kind of doesn't make any sense. It shows you illustrations with absolutely no words there. And then this is just all text. I mean, look, now that I've folded it out, just to be able to put it back up is like an oversimplified Rubik's Cube. GameCube just to get it back to this. I feel like the thing that they sent for you to register your device is better quality than that. I'm not even going to bother to read into it too much, because other than the body trimmer, I don't think I'm gonna learn anything from this. There is the indicator. It could be better. It will go solid when it's a full charge. It will start to go red when it starts to die down. But when the device is on, it doesn't really do anything. You see, it's not lit up, so you don't know where you are unless you're on the actual plug, which I think is kind of silly. It's not a deal breaker to me, because obviously I have this one, but if I'm reviewing it, the two negatives that I come across right away is the instruction manual, and then there's this battery indicator where it only indicates you when it's plugged in. Let's see how it cuts. So first impression, excellent at cutting. I'm getting absolutely no hair pulls on this at all. Now, what I will say is you're not getting the absolute smoothest cut. This trimmer is not gonna give you an alternative to a fixed blade shave. It's not gonna be that level smooth, but you can if you need to take it down. As far as what I have here, like that buzz, that very light feeling, you can definitely achieve that. So the runtime of 5 hours, I think in all of last year, granted I was trying other devices and stuff like that, I might have charged this thing like twice, and seeing as how I cut my hair usually at least once a week, that's pretty impressive that I can use the trimmer that often and I'm charging 1 or 2 times a year. Now the test is going to get into here. And so far so good. This is enough to achieve going out. If I didn't have a fixed blade with me, I'm not uncomfortable with how smooth a shave I'm getting here. So obviously I'm going to use my 3-way mirror and actually clean this up, but I wanted to show you guys as I was cutting the back of my head, just to show you that I was doing it in different directions, which was with the blade upside down or with the shears this way against the skin, and either way I haven't gotten any scrapes, I haven't had any hair tugs or any nicks or any cuts like that, and that's pretty impressive when you are in my particular level of trying to get something that's going to be able to achieve that trimmer. We're going to get down into beard and see if I can achieve the line work. Like I said, this is so much similar to my other device that I pretty much know what I'm going to be able to achieve, but I want to show you guys at home there what it's capable of. I'm pretty sure you know where this review is headed. I will say that the button has been an improvement to me. Getting used to using the other device, I have only, since I've been using this, turned this off by accident once, and I was really pushing the limits on putting my hand across this thing. There are ways to negate doing it on my older one, but I have to give them credit where credit is due. They did improve on the button being so easy to press and turn on and off by mistake with this device, so that is an improvement. But outside of that, you're pretty much looking virtually at the same exact device. That's it. I've been able to achieve this with absolutely zero nicks, pull, hair tugs, anything like that. It is excellent at that. Now, what I will point out to you is you have to be aware of what you're trying to achieve and what you are expecting from this. I don't expect to be able to get away with doing my hair with just this one device. So I'm perfectly fine with the fact that this device is not achieving a perfect bald look, look. One of the limitations that I said would, and this goes with pretty much all trimmers, there are very few trimmers I have ever seen that are gonna rival a fixed blade cut. Two things to take into consideration. You got to look at the level and skin tone that you are at, how light or dark your scalp is, and you have to also look at the color of your hair. My natural hair color is like a very dark jet black. If you have a lighter hair color, you could probably get away with using this and be totally satisfied with just using the one device. Know the limitations and the expectations of what you're buying this for. Know how thick your hair is, how dark your hair is, in contrast how light your scalp is, and what you're trying to achieve. If you're expecting a fixed blade alternative, this is not necessarily going to be it. But if you're just looking for an electric trimmer that is not barber quality, if you're just looking for something that's good enough at home, this is definitely going to be worth it. So the first major test of any line work for me is always doing the duck lips and seeing if I can cut this off, and I can't tell you how much I can't wait to do this. I am so happy to be free of that hair on the lips. What I will say, I have used a slightly higher quality cordless trimmer where I was able to achieve the same line work a little quicker. The actual line work itself is pretty sharp. What I will say is there is limitations on if you were to use a trimmer that is a detailer, for example, something that is only meant to do line work. You're going to be more satisfied with that than this. This being an all-in-one is kind of like being a jack of all trades, so it's not going to be a mastery and a 10 when it comes to line work. It'll be an 8 in all of those different places, whereas maybe 3 or 4 other devices might be a 10, but you'll need 3 or 4 devices to be able to achieve that same amount of work or that same exact level of quality. So for the extra time that I had to spend to make sure that I could get all of the hair off there, considering the price point and this being an all-in-one, if you're not trying to buy 3 or 4 different devices, you're going to be more than satisfied. So I think I bucked into like my very first ever so slight hair tug right around here, trying to get the line work. So if I'm saying perfect line work, not perfect, but damn good. I have gotten into some really sensitive areas. One of the most sensitive areas I want to point out to you is this area here. That area right there coming out of the nose. The skin is very, very thin. I'm very sensitive to trimmers that sometimes can be over aggressive with those very sharp blades and getting there. And you can feel that stinging feeling. I'm not feeling any of that. You might have to go over an area more than once where a more aggressive blade might be one and done, but I'm not feeling anything sore or trimmed or anything like that. If you stare hard enough, you can see that it's not perfect, and that's okay with me. Again, like, I'm going to go and clean this up after I'm done doing the major shaping with this, but the lines itself are sharp. And of course, if you cheat with a little thinner comb, you'll probably get a little finer line. But I haven't even used any of the guards yet, and this is a stark improvement from where we started at. This one coming with so many guards gives you so much versatility and subtlety on how you can get fades done. Especially that's going to be important if you're not just going for a baldy like me. If your beard becomes not only as glorious as mine, but also becomes as important a focal point as hair. When you don't have it up here and you're wearing it on your beard, you want to be able to shave these in. So I think the fact that it comes with so many guards, so many options, it can only go up from here. There's no way that the guards are going to make this cut worse. So basically seeing what the line work can do, you know, how steady it is, how heavy the device feels, and how smooth it's cutting is enough for me to pretty much give a verdict. So let's get into it. Alright, so I was just about to tell you guys whether or not I thought this thing made the cut or not, and then I realized that I didn't try the one thing on this that sets it apart. Now yeah, I haven't used any of the guards on this, but in reality, with so many guards, and I can tell it's just going to be down to your skill and practicing with your fading. But I do need to review this thing here and tell you if it's worth it versus the body trimmer. It does come with a removable guard to be able to clean this off, which I like. So let's clip this on real quick and see what this is about. Trigger warning to you people, the dad bod is coming out, so just be warned. Alright, so I don't have the full hamburger meat going on the chest, but I do have enough hair that you can see the difference. I'm going to see if I get any hair tugs here, because if I get any hair tugs here, then I definitely know if I go south of the border that that's a no-go. So we'll be able to tell just off of the chest what I'll be able to achieve with this thing here. There is more of like a 0. Alright, we're getting into sensitive territory. Okay. So I'm gonna stop there. To tell you the honest truth, let's get into what I think of this and whether or not it makes a cut. So the last thing that I used is the first thing I'm going to go over. I am not in love with the body trimmer. I did remove the guard on it and use it that way and put the guard back on. What I did notice with it is I felt like you had to trim in one direction, and it had to be in the direction that the hair grows. But if the hair is growing downward, for example, for me to trim across it, there were some slight hair tugs. It wasn't something that was excruciating, but when you think of that south of the border in a much more sensitive area, you're not trying to hear anything about hair tugs. So I have a device that is exclusively for trimming body hair. I would stick to that. Once you use something with a guard and see that you get absolutely no hair tugs, you get that smooth trim without having to really work in the skin and get in there, you kind of say to yourself, if you have the budget for it, get that secondary device and have, you know, your face trimmer different from your body trimmer. Outside of that, this is okay. If this was the only thing that the trimmer was, then yeah, I might be a little bit more harsh on it. But even if this wasn't in there, I would still say that final analysis, the MG9000, it does make the cut. It is worth a purchase. Caveat, if you don't already own one in the series, it is just too close. Yes, there is the improvement in the button, but I've had this one for long enough. I can get around the negligence of accidentally pressing and turning it off. And the only thing that this one boasts that I will say is it came with a bag, which I just went and got my own, and this one comes with a lot more guards. So if you don't have one already, I would probably skip and get this one. More guards mean, you know, more versatility for your fading work. The bodyguard, it's okay. You can get away with doing your chest and your torso with this thing, but using another device that is something for body trimming, I've used better than this. It's not that terrible, but it's not the highest of quality, and it's not enough for me to upgrade. And that's not a diss to this product. If anything, it is where Philips Norelco is kind of riding that what they would probably hate, the fact that I wouldn't want to go and purchase another one, and I've had this one for years. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you got this and the one blade, for example, and you needed that to be a fixed blade alternative, I think you would be able to achieve a good baldy and good line work between those two devices, and probably that you could use as a body trimmer. I've used that as a body trimmer and I was much more impressed with that. With that said, again, reiterating, it is worth the purchase, but you guys get your hands on the MG9000 and tell me what you think. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe. Till the next time we're cutting up, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one. Woo!